Alright, welcome back everyone. This is Prophet of the Constitution. This is our Kreis Contingent playthrough on Master of Command. Last time we left off, we were here at Landeshut. We are going to buy a bunch of food, because we are going to try to force march to get the two entrenched armies that we've discovered. Also, in between the last episode and this episode, I did some customization for our units. So first off, I changed the Saxon artillery battalions to be more Saxon, really. Gave them their colors, their looks. Artillerie Bataillon Saxon. Perhaps I didn't pronounce that right. I'm getting better. Pronunciation will come with time, I assure you. Our Kreis unit is now Kreis Infanterie Regiment Württemberg. Saxon infantry, Prinz Clemens Infanterie Regiment. Württemberg is the Fusilier Regiment Truxis. And finally, Bavaria, we have the Hohenstein Infanterie Regiment. Our Tatars are the Graf Reinhard Ulanen from Saxony. Well, in Saxon employ, rather. The Prinz Karl Chevalier of Saxony. And, of course, the Kreis Regiment Württemberg Dragoner of the Imperial Dragoons. I'm still somewhat working my head around how all of this works with the Holy Roman Empire. It's very interesting. I do much enjoy it. For example, the Kreis units. This is Saxon. That is not what I wanted. The Kreis, I believe, is military district or based on national districts between the different states in the HRE. So effectively, like Kreis Contingent, this whole army is made up of district troops for the HRE that are all contributed between the different HRE states. And of course, here in the tree, the Bavarian, the Palatinate, Württemberg, and then of course Saxony having their own tree are more major players. Commonly, for example, electorates also in the Empire. Very interesting. Alright, I did some organization with the inventory. However, all of that being said, let's begin moving. I did say we're going to force march. I don't like force marching very much because it eats through your resources and your visibility goes down. But I want these entrenched armies. We have one here and one over here. I'm not sure if we can reach them both before headquarters reaches us, but we will try. Alright, let's see what they have. Battle of Landeshut. They have 5 musketeers, 2 land millets, 1 recruit, 2 provincial cav, and 3 artillery batteries. Very interesting. Alright. It does look like they outnumber us somewhat on infantry and artillery, but we have a cavalry advantage. Alright, let us take a look at their makeup real quick. Their provincial cavalry. These guys don't even have swords, really. Good swords. Alright, that's good for us. No carbines. Artillery, they do have bronze 3-pounders. Otherwise, they have iron guns. Potsdams. We do gotta watch the enemy reload. And good Potsdams. Okay. Alright, so we do have to keep mindful of their equipment and their capability. We have a river that divides the map in half here. That is wonderful. Wow, this is I don't think I've seen this map before. Very, very interesting. This is fantastic. I already love this map. First time on it, and I'm already a huge fan. This looks phenomenal. I mean, there's a hill here that leads to this little, like, church building and woods. That's a pretty good position. Very interesting that there's good position on the other side as well with woods in the town. The river comes across here. There's a hill back here. There's woods, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to set up in the woods here with artillery. I may have a unit here in these woods and then have the artillery over here, or the cavalry over here to back them up. Alright, let's see. We're going to put the artillery here on the hill, of course. Not in the woods because they get a malice in the woods. Not really interested in that. Let's see. Put the land millets here. The Bavarians would be great to have here, as would the troops from Württemberg. Alright. I'm not sure. I may keep all of our forces on this side of the river, just to be sure. The enemy cannot use the river against us. Rather, we are going to try to do that to the enemy. Let's see. Put the supply wagon over there. We will be placing our cavalry on this side, yes, because we do not want our cavalry crossing the river a bunch of times to get at the enemy. Alright, let's see. Württemberg, let's get you here. Get you set up in the woods there. Again, the idea being not to be up against the river, the idea being to get the enemy to have to cross the river in order to come to us. I'm going to position them there for now. They're going to be here. Alright, fantastic. Make sure our cavalry begins to move. Wonderful. I like this map. This definitely looks to be one of the new maps. And I am extremely pleased with the idea of getting new maps. Not that the other maps are boring, but I like more strategic options. I like having more things that I can do, more ways I can defeat the enemy. And also it creates a new challenge too, because there comes a point where, especially with certain maps, where there's basically one or two ways you know works best on those maps. And you could intentionally not do those things, but then you're handicapping yourself for no reason. That does not excite me. Alright, my apologies. I don't know what was going on with the screen there, but we're all good again. Alright. Moving the cavalry around behind, as per usual. And perhaps we won't be able to. They are adjusting their forces to come after us. In this case, this isn't all that bad, however, because those are their elite units that they're adjusting the line for. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I may adjust the line even further here, though, just to get more units in on the fight for the riverside. That looks a little better. Fantastic. Alright. Alright, the elite infantry is still chasing us. Let's see, are they good in melee? Not terrible. They're not great on the charge, though. Alright, I do believe their guns will soon be in range of us here, which is suboptimal, of course. Our guns are not in range of them just yet. Not quite. They will be, just not yet. Looks like their musketeers are going to attempt to rejoin the main force. Fantastic. That is excellent. We got that coverage there. It's good coverage there. Good coverage there. They can't use the hilltop as much against us, which is very, very good. Supremely pleased about that. If I can speak English tonight, that would be wonderful. Be even more entertaining if I could actually start to get the German down a little bit more. I actually, believe it or not, I am like semi-fluent in German, though it's been way too long since I've used much of the German that I understand. Took some in school. Very interested in Germany. Yes. Alright. Never been, though I'd appreciate the opportunity. Alright, let us see what we got here. They're firing at the land militia. I'd much rather them fire at the musketeers that are in the open. And of course, they do have their elite musketeers, so perhaps we will fire on them. I like that idea the best, I think. Fantastic. And we will just go ahead and set up there like so. Wonderful. That should be great for that. That's kind of like a flanking maneuver there. They do have musketeers there ready to take us on. Very interestingly. Trying to go after our cavalry per usual. We may not have a choice but to take on those musketeers. I'm going to split off the dragoons there. Alright, we are engaging the enemy, opening fire on them. Alright, things are going well on this front. Fantastic. I may try to slip the dragoons around and hit their elite forces in the flank. Gotta see what their cavalry and artillery is going to do, however. It looks like our Württembergian troops are receiving the most enemy fire at the moment. Got some recruits covering their flanks. Alright. Still being chased a little to some degree. Alright. Let's see how the line is holding. So far they're holding alright. Fire at the musketeers in the open. Actually, let's fire at their elites in the open. Let's do that. Shall we? I think that's a good idea. Alright. These Cantonist recruits holding their flank are very soon to fold. Very, very soon. And only hope that we don't get charged by them there. That would not be ideal. Trying to stay out of the fire of their troops there. Alright. Those Prussian veteran musketeers are just about done with. Alright, we're going to get ready to order the land militia to charge the enemy. Fantastic, folding the flank there, wonderful. Getting ready to attack their cavalry there. Alright, how's the charge? Fantastic, we broke the Cantonists, wonderful. Fantastic. Alright, their cavalry is coming. Trying to see if our cav is faster. 86 and 116. We will get away from them there. Alright. Let's see. They have 800 and we have 900. We have carbines. They do not. We got 22 and 56. 22 and 19. Yeah, I like that. We're going to go in for the kill. Fantastic. They're going to join together. Wonderful. Now we're going to take care of their guns. That's that. Alright. Our guys are going to be crossing the river somewhat there. Somewhat unideally, but they've got the land millets while they're exhausted. Unfortunately, our right flank has just finished collapsing. Their cav is over. They're retreating. We need to get our cav over here immediately. It's a good thing we started moving our Kreis troops over here. It looks like they're getting ready to come after our guns. Alright, we've got to hurry with that. Alright, got to move our men up. Charging the enemy infantry. Hopefully they're not braced nearly enough to do anything there. We are going to put a stop to them, whether they like it or not. Alright. The artillery is still firing. Their veterans are soon to be broken. And we ran them off. Fantastic. Excellent little charge there. How's our cav doing against the enemy infantry? We're breaking them. Wonderful news. Alright, Ulan's got to move up, finish the fight there. Fantastic. We need these guys to all stop because they are absolutely exhausted. Oh boy. I don't really want them engaging those Prussian musketeers. Don't really want them getting shot either, but not much I can do about that now, is there? Send these men into position. Need to bring the dragoons up here as soon as possible. We're going to charge the flank. I know the Chevaux de Guerre are tired, but our men are also. We've got to do something about this situation. Alright, fantastic. Come on, break through them, boys. These Prussian musketeers have got to give very soon. Countercharging them. Got our general heading in there. Got to charge these musketeers. Our troops became even more tired here. Had some of them retreat there. Alright. Going in. Alright, fantastic. Pull back. You're exhausted. Looks like our dragoons are about to get charged by the enemy cavalry. Not a problem. We should win fairly easily, just as we did last time. Wonderful. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. Definitely feeling some of the quality issue with our troops. Let's see, guys. Let's not do that no more. You are exhausted to nothingness, pretty much. And the battle is not yet over. Kreis troops need to move up as well. General, you did an excellent job in holding the line and helping with the countercharge, rallying the men. Alright, so we took a little more casualties. It's been a little bit more difficult than we're used to normally. It's okay. We've definitely got this. See if we can fire on them as they're getting ready to fire on our other troops here. Try to pull our wounded units into reserve here if we can. I do believe the enemy infantry is still chasing our cavalry. Somewhat hilarious. Not real hip on them crossing the river, but I do need something to happen here. I need them to get a move on, as they are in firing range of the enemy. Not something that pleases me overly much. It's not too big of a deal either. Alright, bring them over here. I'm going to go ahead and fire on them in the flank, if we can help it at all. It would be magnificent. Shell them with artillery, whatever kind of ammo they have left. Alright. Proceeding, fantastic. Want to pull back even further just to be sure that they get close to the riverside itself. Wonderful. Make sure they're not running. Alright, getting ready to move up, fight the enemy. Fantastic. They're turning their flank, which is really not good for them, as our cavalry can do the final blow. Opening fire on them. Receiving fire. Opening fire on the enemy. Receiving fire. Get the land millets involved now. Their morale is collapsing at a rapid pace. I love seeing those defenses up in this game. I'm a very big fan of that. I really like how the earthworks and such are implemented. About to say goodbye, musketeers. Okay. I do want the infantry to get experience, though. Fantastic. That was a good fight. It got a little tough there for a moment on the right flank, but it went well. Very, very well, in my opinion. Not bad at all, especially for an entrenchment battle where we were outnumbered. The issue is getting back up to strength in time for the other entrenchment battle, and then also being ready for the headquarters battle. Let's see. Prussian Musketeers got 427. Not ideal. 236 here for them. Our cavalry and our artillery did swimmingly. Artillery Battalion 1 of Saxony. 820 kills. Phenomenal job. Even our infantry. 649 for the land millets. 323 for the Kreis, which were mostly reserves. 440 for the Prince Clemens. Wow. Is that 683 for Holstein of Bavaria? And 534 for Württemberg. Very, very good job by our troops. Alright. We did suffer some casualties. We could use money and some ammo. Get money and ammo. Let's do that. Let's see what doctrine. Light cavalry combat effectiveness is good for us. Pillaging will be good in Act 3. Item sale profit at settlements I think is the best. And also hearts and minds is crucial for one or maybe two events that come up. We're going to do hearts and minds. We can go ahead and do that. Alright. Lots of promotions. Fighting was thick. Fighting was tough. But our men are all the better for it. Very good stuff. Going to keep some items down here that we want to keep. Trying to separate the items we want to keep versus items that may be not necessary to keep. Alright. Fantastic. Go Go ahead and replenish and rearm, re-ammo. Now, Zustolberg Gedern, he's our artillery general. Let's hope he gets an artillery ability. Let's see. Melee, nope. Fire damage, nope. Melee, nope. Nah. I don't really want to spend 50 gold to reload, reroll. I know we can now. But, I might need that 50 gold. I don't think so. I believe we'll be skipping that. Because we still have to open 2 more brigades and get multiple more recruits and equipment for all of them. Nah. I think we're good. Alright, let's see though. We may, let's see. Cavalry. We don't have anything else opened up just yet, but, I don't know, I think we're... How are the bayonets looking? That's what I was trying to look at. Okay. I think we're good for the time being. Alright. We could explore around and get some of this stuff. I really would like to get the other entrenched army, though, however. Oh, I guess it's right near us. Oh, here it is. And there's one as well. Man, if we could get all 3, that would be... That'd be something else. Replenishment is reduced there, though. We can't do that. I think we might only be able to get that one. Well, let's go for it anyhow. See what happens. Headquarters is just about to start coming after us. There it is. Headquarters in pursuit. They're there. I don't think it'll take them that long to reach us, unfortunately. We've actually been slowed down somewhat. That's good. Alright. Keeping in mind, we have to win this fight and then also win the headquarters battle. That could be difficult. Alright. Elite Prussian Fusiliers. Musketeers. Musketeers is 3. 3 recruits. 4 artillery. 1 cavalry. Our cavalry is going to have to come in clutch here. They are going to have to dominate the battlefield. The enemy artillery and the cavalry have to go immediately. Because if that artillery is allowed to continue to fire on us, that could be catastrophic for our forces. Absolutely catastrophic. Can't let that happen. Our cavalry, once again, will be our lifeline. I actually know some guys play this game like, I don't like cavalry, don't have a use for cavalry, rather have infantry. I don't know what they're talking about, to be honest with you. Big fan of cavalry. Let's see what we got here. Alright. Ooh. Yeah, not my favorite battlefield. Somewhat in the open here. We do have a little bit of woods here. A little bit of town here. Not a big fan. I usually like more cover for my men. Okay. I almost want to try to get this position with the woods and the hills and such. We could hold in the town like we've done before. I'm not certain about it though. To be honest with you, the best position on this map, in my opinion, is across here with these woods. This little, like, mini town or whatever here. Some more woods across here with a hill behind for your guns. Could set up over here, but the enemy, the Prussians, might out-reload us in the open. I am not hip on that. We are going to bring the army over here. That's just the way it's going to be. Try to get whatever advantage that we can on them. Alright, don't forget the supply wagon. Fantastic. Alright, get our cav over here. Now let's see, what do they have for their cav? Hussars, okay. Iron guns of varying poundages. Looks like 2 6s and 2 3s. Good Potsdams. That's not good. Good Neustadts. Potsdam. I'm glad some of these guys have worn. It's just the recruits. Alright, and Potsdams. Yeah, these Prussians are going to have really good reload. One little thing to note. Do not underestimate Prussians. Do not. Would be one of the most unwise things you could ever possibly do in your entire existence. In this game, of course. Underestimate the Prussians. That would be extremely unwise. I do not intend to make such a mistake. Alright, everyone is on the move. Fantastic. We are going to be trying to move to take that position here. Want to set up in the woods as much as we can. They're on to us. Thankfully, the enemy, well, kind of thankfully, I want them to do better, but for us strategically at the moment, it's good. They're only moving in a line. Whilst we move in columns. Right, Württemberg is too hurt to be in the center this time. I believe Bavaria and Saxony will hold the center flank this time. Keep the Landemilits in reserve. Keep the general ready to go. Alright. The cavalry will win or lose this battle for us, however, in my opinion. I mean, our infantry are very, very important, but enemy guns could be a ginormous problem. Absolutely huge problem. Alright. Their cavalry and their guns have all noticed us. That's not great. I do not generally prefer when their guns are firing on my cavalry. However, with as often as I use my cavalry to remove enemy guns and to flank their positions, it only makes sense that that would be the case, unfortunately. So we're going to have to call that one an occupational hazard in this situation. I would add another to this flank to help fold them there, but it came a little close with the guns last time, and I'm not too interested in losing my guns. That would be catastrophic, to say the least. Ouch. Artillery fire is not fun to receive, not at all. Now what is this mess? The Fusiliers are coming at us kind of wantonly. They have really good defenses, though. I would love to charge them because I know they're not braced at all. Charging from the front, though, could be enormously disastrous. We're charging one another. Let's see what happens. Alright. Destroyed the artillery there. Gonna try to continue to take out the artillery, preferably without engaging the enemy infantry. Not too bad so far. They have one more gun over here on this flank. No, two more guns on this flank, actually. Fantastic. Now, I wouldn't mind destroying their elite infantry should we get the opportunity to do so. We shall see if that should present itself or not. Considering how they're moving their line over there, I think I will support them here on the flank. Fantastic. That was brilliant. That was just fantastic, winning that battle there. Hopefully that will prove enormously catastrophic to their combat capabilities. I'm going to move up Kreis here also so that we can take out these cantonists very quickly, hopefully shattering them. Alright. So far so good. Good, I want them firing on the musketeers, not the recruits. Interesting to see these armies still with so many recruits. I don't know why, I just feel like I'm not used to seeing them with as many recruits. Pull our men back. Give a little bit of ground here for a moment. Oh. Let's not have the shorter ranged unit move to try to reach that target. Let's not do that. Suboptimal there a little bit. Start moving them down here. Gotta get the dragoons away from the enemy infantry. Alright, got the land millets on the move. Fire and maneuver, that's the name of the game, boys. Shift our line. Yeah, we're gonna give up some of the woods, but it'll be alright. Get in position there. Order them to move on the double quick. Alright, order them to settle right there. Moving in the cavalry towards the artillery. Dragoons are on the move. Fantastic. Both of our units are going to meet them. Move on the double quick, boys. General, we need you over here. They know they're struggling a little bit, so they need some encouragement. Fantastic. There goes their guns. Hopefully they'll charge them before they take another round of cannon fire. Shift the line over here. Keep them in the fight, General. Keep them in the fight. Fantastic. We're doing very well. I do not want them rejoining the fight. Awesome. Keep them in reserve here to protect the guns. Gonna shatter them. Awesome. We are doing a number on those musketeers. Alright, we can have them stop now. Phenomenal work, boys. Phenomenal work. Keep it up. We're going to try to shatter as many of these units as we can, just to be sure that we've dealt with them. Alright, let's see. Wow, they almost shattered those musketeers just from that fire. Alright, we're going to get everybody back into another type of position here. Alright, Dragoons, shatter the Musketeers. Alright, fantastic. Their combat loss grouping is very, very bad right now. Which, of course, is excellent news for us. Just the way we want things to be going is exactly how they are going right now. Move the cav back here for other opportunities. Yeah, we may want to move Württemberg back and have the land millets take their place, actually. That may be the way to go. Preserve our numbers a little more. Now it could be... We're doing fairly well on this one, but it could still be extremely dangerous to try and get the 3rd Entrenched Army, because if we do, we may have 2 battles, the 3rd Entrenched Army and the headquarters back to back. That could be very dangerous, depending on how well we do. Alright. Very, very good. Open fire on the enemy. Fantastic. Alright, move up. They're not going to know what hit them. It's going to be a rough time for these elite troops. They're not going to know why their life sucks. They're just going to know that it sucks. That is all. Alright, cavalry can actually come up over here. That'd be great. Alright, Württemberg, prepare to move in. Awesome. They're not quite getting shot at yet here, so let's adjust the line so that they are. Alright. Fantastic. We are in danger somewhat of being flanked. Let's adjust the line a little bit. Alright, fantastic. Those elite troops are nearly done in. The Heinrich von Preußen Fusiliers have run from the field, and they've been shattered. Alright. Fantastic. Our troops are really proving themselves. This is glorious, to be honest with you. I am extremely pleased with their capabilities here thus far. Alright. Move up. Fantastic. Charge the enemy to shatter them, just to be sure we don't get flanked. Alright, and that does that unit in. All they have left here now is these Prussian musketeers. They will not last long, as they are near to be encircled. Not quite, almost. It's not going to be good for them. They know it too. They're just one volley away from breaking. One good volley. Probably from the land millets. Or the Bavarian regiment. Yeah, the land millets did them in. Wonderful. That was a brilliant battle. That went very, very well. Very, very good battle for us. 753. That is awesome. Some pretty good loot to boot. Fantastic. 630 for the Fusilier Regiment Truxas of Württemberg. 660 for Holstein Infanterie Regiment of Bavaria. 525 for Prince Clemens. Only 274 for Kreis Infanterie Regiment Württemberg, but they were our reserves pretty much, so to be expected. The land millets are doing great. We actually didn't upgrade anyone from the last battle. I'm not sure why that skipped my mind. Cavalry did great. Man, these Ulanen are devastating. I'm glad I gave them those lances also. Which was also a recommendation to me, by the way. Though they were a likely target for it as well. I like the idea of Ulans and Lancers. Polish Lancers were some of Napoleon's greatest troops. We kept their elite Fusiliers to under 100 kills. Their artillery, 87, 113, 4, and 18. That's good. Exactly 100 for the Prussian Musketeers. Alright, we're going to do Thalers and ammunition again. I believe. The next battle we may have to do conscript again. But because our special stance gives us reservists, I'm not too concerned about it. And I want money for Act 2 when you can actually start to unlock the excellent items, because that's when we're going to equip our men. So we're going to do that. Let's see what the doctrines are. Tribute collection. 100 Thalers first time you visit a settlement. Observation forces are one of my favorites. Campaign visibility. But Romer Monet is exclusive to the Holy Roman Empire. And 6 reservists and ammo, that's 12 for 2 Thalers daily. Yeah, we're doing that. That sounds great. The earlier you get it in the campaign, the better. We're going to do it now. That's going to be fantastic. Alright. Von Rockau with an upgrade. Let's see what he gets. Hopefully something excellent. He has pretty good traits already. Let's see. Come on. Charge, command radius, and command radius morale. I like command radius, but the units are so long it's difficult to keep them in it. Interesting. I don't like the fire damage received, however. Let's see. Overall morale. No. I don't know. I think I'm going to skip on this one. Alright. Let's see what we got here. Chevaux Leger, they can lance up. Lance up. Yes, let's lance up, yes. I think I want them to be the veteran Chevaux Leger. Let's see. 20 and 20 to 25, 25 with 65, 45. 40 and 30. That's a pretty good upgrade. Cuirassiers are nice, but they're not as fast. I like my light cav to be fast, and I like running light cav right now. We're going to do the upgraded Chevaux Leger. Fantastic. Alright. The land millets. Let's see. We don't have any Palatine troops yet. Württemberg, Kreis, Saxon, Bavaria. We don't have any Palatine troops. Let's do Palatine Musketeers. And of course, next time I will, well, the next time or two, I'll try to get them customized as well. So that'll be pretty amazing. Keep the items down here. We're going to try to hold on to if possible. We may not end up holding on to it. I'm not 100% certain. Depends somewhat on what we get at the beginning of the next act. But for the time being, it looks somewhat useful. Alright. Enemy headquarters is here. Shouldn't take them too long to catch up. We can try to get down here and get the third one going. We could even potentially try and force march. I really would like another doctrine. I don't know if we can escape the HQ, though. Question is, do we force march? We are hurt. Not terribly, but we are hurt. Alright, we're going to risk it. Force marching down the road. Fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful news. We're going to stop force marching because it looks like we may catch up to them. And we are. Awesome. Now, here's the key. We got to try to keep our casualties minimal if we're going to be able to defeat that headquarters up there. Heinrich von Prussian Fusiliers, Prussian Fusiliers, so those are elite units there. They have 3 musketeers, 2 recruits, 4 artillery, and 2 provincial cavalry.